This is the Ranger Report Podcast. News, insights, predictions, interviews, and information about the Texas Rangers from the major leagues to the minor leagues. And now, here are your hosts, Ben Dieter and CJ Berryman.
Welcome to the Ranger Report Podcast. I am Ben Dieter. You can find me on Twitter at bdieter75.
I am back. I am CJ Berryman. You can find me at CJB_RR on the Twitter thingy.
And we are thrilled today to be joined by Texas Rangers pitcher Taylor Hearn. Taylor, how are you today, sir?
Good. How you guys doing? Thank you guys for having me, by the way.
Doing well.
Appreciate you getting on.
Appreciate having you on. So let's start off. You had some big personal news break during the off season. I mean, it was all over social media and everywhere. So congratulations on the engagement.
Oh, thank you guys so much, man. It's been a crazy journey, and just now ironing out the wedding details and everything is even more stressful. So I'm so excited for it.
Yeah, it's one of those things you can't really keep private because of who you are. Like everyone wants to know everything, you know.
Yeah, no, it's true. And I was kind of shocked about the Rangers reposting it. It happened so quick. Everything those like 3 days was just a blur, you know, just everything preparing for it. And now it finally happened. And, you know, it took me a couple of days to finally like digest everything. So
her wedding, your funeral, bro. When is the wedding?
So we're looking at venues right now. So we're looking to try to aim at, if we can't get it in November, probably early December, try to knock it out.
Oh, Christmas wedding.
Yeah, cool.
Hey, I'll take it. It.
Hey, I'll tell you, it's not all that bad. You know, I've been married for 25 years, so it's not all that bad.
Yeah, that's what they all say. But they never get.
I've been married and divorced, so I can't say the same.
Everybody I talk to always says they always forget to leave those little details out about the other stuff that happens. Like, oh, I've been married for 30 years, man. It's not that bad.
I'm not saying it's not always been not that bad.
Oh,
you know, every couple goes through their problems, but it's worth it. It's totally worth it.
Of course.
All right, so let's look besides the engagement. How is your off season going so far?
It's been good. I've been throwing, and started back working out last week or 2 weeks ago as well. I was supposed to go to Korea for the MLB's Korea series, but then that got canceled. So I was supposed to start throwing bullpens this week. So that got shut down. So now I'm just back to throwing program, kind of tapered back a little bit. Lifting wise, been doing well as well. So
when you look back at 2022 for you personally, I know it was kind of a back and forth deal for you. You know, how do you think it went overall?
I think overall it went really well. I think my perspective is a little bit different than probably what the fan perspective or other people think, because I truly think as an athlete and mainly a baseball player, if you finish the year healthy, you know, that's the biggest check mark, despite results and everything. But other than that, I really thought it was a great year for me. I never look at a year as it's a down year. I always look at a year like maybe it's always a learning year, you know, whether that be the first half or second half, you know, changing roles or whatever it may be. You know, I always looked at it as like a learning year and kind of just trying to make improvements and just realizing like I'm just getting started in my career. And, you know, it's just a matter of me just trying to, you know, work on certain stuff to figure out what role works best for me.
Yeah, and that's something I was going to follow up here with is, did the Rangers tell you what they expected out of you during the offseason, or did they say just take a break, get away from baseball, and we'll revisit it in the spring?
Honestly, no. We had a review about how the year went. They were really pleased with it and how I handled a lot of the situations that were thrown at me and everything. And I personally gotta thank God for that, because man, this year I've never prayed so much in my life, but it's just been one of them years where I had to pray just a little extra harder, you know. Yeah. There was some stuff that I couldn't control, and No, I mean, my mindset after every season and even after going in off season has always been the same. But like from a team wise, man, they were very, very pleased with what I did and how I handled everything and did the best I could in each role and whatever it was, and ever it was.
Got good feedback. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I'll say personally, as someone that covers a team, but also as a fan, like watching your attitude was really awesome. It was really awesome to watch because some people I know sometimes, I mean, people can say it was a demotion. It's not a demotion. They just moved you around. Yeah. And by the end of the season, man, you were dealing out of the bullpen like crazy. And your attitude the whole time, even when you were down at Round Rock, I was so impressed with the way that you handled all that and the way that you did that. And it was obvious to a lot of Rangers fans. And I didn't talk to a lot of people that were mad at you or disappointed in you or wanted you to get, fired or let go. Everyone was really impressed by your attitude. So I wanted to let you know that we all did notice.
No, I mean, I appreciate that. That's kind of been always one of the things that's been who I am, the type of person who I am, and very faith driven, believing in God, and, just a lot, because it was definitely a tough year. But man, I realized like I'm early in my career. I don't know what God has for me. I don't know what role I'm going to be long term or whatever it may be. I don't know. But I just know that whatever role I am going to do, I'm going to make sure I'm going to do it to the fullest. And with it being my first full year, for a couple of games as a starter, it was fun. But I'm not, closing that book either, because I know a lot of things have happened in a lot of guys' careers, like John Smoltz is a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched the Nolan Ryan documentary. I didn't even know he was a reliever that long. Then he went else and they gave him a chance as a starter, and that's when it finally clicked. But, so
and now he's got a strikeout record that will never be broken.
yeah. I'll never be able to play the game as long as him. That guy's a legend. They're like just seeing how and hearing stories and seeing how guys that I know personally that play in the big leagues have gone back and forth and then finally found it like a couple of years into it. So I'm definitely not closing the book on any role.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea too. Now, when you kind of, you seem to kind of thrive out of the bullpen there at the end of the season. You were locked in, you had some great games there at the end of the year. So I guess you did kind of answer this in whatever one, but ultimately, would you like to be a starter, or you just want to do whatever can help the team?
At this point, even just how I've always been, I've always wanted to do whatever they need me to do. Even at the bullpen, it's the same way. I mean, I think I kind of got used to that role because I had done it the year prior before. And, I had a full year to really try to figure it out and everything, because I'm not going to lie, like being a starter and a reliever in the big leagues is tough, especially with that first year as a starter. What a lot of people didn't see was I was like trying to figure out what worked for me and what didn't work for me, and it kind of got cut short. So that's nothing I can do about that. But, I mean, it was easy. It was an easy transition going to the bullpen because I'm like, okay, I did that last year. I can do it again.
Nice. Do you have a favorite memory or moment from the 2022 season? Something funny, something memorable? I mean, whatever.
Memorable has got to be when I got Trevi out. Jose Trevino, getting him out. Getting Roberto Clemente award was obviously one of the best. Like that was, I had that circled every time we played New York. I was like, if I face Trevi, I got to get him out. And sure, I did. And he was like chirping, talking about how he almost missed it. And I was like, no, you got to hit the weight room a little bit more. So if anything tops any achievement I did that year, I could have won the Cy Young that year and I would have still been like, no, Trevi out. That's the top.
That's amazing. That is so awesome. So when he made the All-Star game and Jonah Heim didn't, did you guys chirp back and forth at him, or did he kind of stay quiet about that?
No, he didn't really say much. That is such like a hard thing because like it's like people think like it's just that easy. Like, hey, like let's look at the numbers and let's do this. It's like it's a lot that plays into it, And no disrespect to Jonah or Trevor, they're both really good catchers. Yeah. I was personally really happy for Trevi when he got picked to go because man, like I don't really think a lot of people really like. I've been knowing this guy for a while, and just to see, like, he's one of the few players I've ever played with that's very competitive, first off, but like he's a real student of the game. Like, this dude is one of the catchers that, like, one of the players in general that like really just eat, breathe, sleep baseball, and like he's always trying to get better. You know, like in the off seasons when he was up here in Dallas, he would always hit me up and say, "Hey, when you throwing bullpen through?" He's like, I'm catching flat grounds, I'm doing everything, you know. So it was, man, I was really happy for him to make it, but I was also a little disappointed Jonah didn't make it either. But, you know, I mean, we got long careers, so, you know, not going to cancel that out.
Yeah.
All right. So let's switch gears. You obviously know that Brucy Bochy has been hired as the Rangers' next manager. So what are your thoughts on him? And do you remember his time in San Francisco winning all those World Series?
Yeah. So first part. So when we hired him, I was obviously pretty excited because of his pedigree and everything he's done. So we go to work out. I want to say, it was last week when they hired him. And I go up and meet him, and he knew who I was. And he was like, "Man, you know, I'm a big fan of yours, and I like watching you pitch, man. I'm excited to work with you." The biggest draw and takeaway for me was I did not know he was that tall. Like, Bruce is like, and I heard what he told me, but I was just locked in on how tall he was. I was like, man, this is the first manager that's like actually like my height. So that was awesome. But man, I got a chance to talk to him afterwards and like really have a sit down with him. And man, he's awesome. Like he comes off as a really great guy. And I talked to Hunter Pence about him too. And Hunter was really, really cool about it. So it was awesome. But then being a Ranger fan my whole life and, you know, sit on the couch and seeing the Giants win the World Series, you know, I feel to swallow. So
against us, yeah.
Yeah. Good that he's on our side now.
Yeah.
All right. So do you have any thoughts on who you would like to see as your next pitching coach, or does it matter to you at all?
Man, I don't really know, because I'd say the toughest thing as a player, if you're not in those meetings, you don't know what like their requirements or what they're asking for. Like, I could sit here and say, like, you know, for example, the pitching coach for, I'll say, Toronto. Okay, I don't know who it is, but let's just say Toronto. Like, let's say I've worked with him before, and you know, I like how his philosophy is and all that type of stuff, but then it may not fit the criteria of what like they're looking to push. You know what I mean? It's a tough thing. So as a player, coming from having different pitching coaches, and at one point, like this year, you guys saw we had 2 pitching coaches.
Yeah.
So I've always been an easy person to work with. You know, I really do a really good job of trying to make sure to let the pitching coaches know like what I like to do, what works for me, what I want to improve on, what I know about myself, what I want to get better at. And, you know, just trying to keep me at who I am and, you know, the type of identity that I have. So
not so that somebody that responds to you instead of tries to force you to do something you don't want to do.
Yeah, definitely that. Definitely somebody who's not trying to force people to be who they're not, you know, trying to, you know, whatever it may be, making me, you know, different guys, different identities. It's like, just be true to who you are. And like, this is who, you know, you're supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, you know, guys like us try to make a living trying to guess who it's going to be. So that's what we do. And, you know,
and right now we have no clue.
Yeah, we have no clue.
Y'all are left in the dark just like us, because I don't know either. So we're like, let's just see who it is, and then we'll you know, they'll obviously reach out to us.
Maybe it'll be Chris Young. Who knows?
First time, GM pitching coach, like that'd be tough.
That would be tough. That would be real tough.
Dual role, run the team and do the pitching coach.
But yeah, I mean, it boils down to, you know, like you said, someone that meshes well with the team and meshes with the way that Brucy Bochy is going to manage, and meshes with, you know, the way you guys want to do going forward. Because obviously at this point, you guys are going forward to win a championship. I mean, they're putting together a team that they think can win a championship. They brought in a championship manager, and I think whoever they get, it's going to be someone I think that meshes with you guys pretty well.
I agree. You know, you got the right person at the head of the table with Bruce, who's been there, and somebody that has managed pitching staffs that have won 3 World Series and been in the playoffs. So he's definitely going to know what it takes to get there. So it's just a matter of him, and I trust him fully, just a matter of him trying to get the right pitching coach that's on the same accord with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So do you guys kind of feel the same thing that fan base does right now? Are you guys kind of do you feel that you guys are about to turn that corner and be a competitive team over the next few years, or hopefully longer? And how does it kind of feel to be on a team that you think is turning that corner?
I truly do think we're right there.
Yeah.
I think the steps we made this year as a staff, and I can only speak on the hitting or the pitching side because I was in the pitchers meetings, but from the hitting side as well, I mean, those guys made huge steps as well. But I know from a pitching side, people, I guess I truly think people didn't really give us enough credit. I truly agree. Writers, and I think a lot of fans did not give our pitching staff enough credit, because if we would have games where, I guess as a player, you kind of evaluate it different, where it's like, hey, if you got a guy like Glenn Otto or me or Dane or whatever who started like a Reagan's or somebody that's young, and you hold like the Yankees or somebody like that to 3 runs or less, like that's a huge accomplishment, and I kind of always saw it that way.
And y'all, there was a stretch there where y'all went through, I think it was 3 series in a row against teams that had buzzsaws for batting lineups, and it didn't look good. And so I think people look at that and it's like, oh, well, the pitching staff sucks. Well, no, look at who they're facing, and it's a bunch of young guys trying to face these guys, and they're learning themselves. So it's actually a good learning experience for the young guys to face these guys and see, hey, we gotta figure out what we gotta do. I agree. Y'all didn't get enough credit. We gave y'all credit. We definitely did. We're smart baseball people. At least we think we are. And we saw it. I mean, hell, there was a 3 series stretch where it was like, damn, y'all are just facing tough lineups day after day after day.
Yeah, and it's a tough thing too, because when you go through stretches like we did, where we are facing like the top 10 lineups in all of baseball, and you're throwing all of us young guys. But like, I feel like I truly do feel like a lot of people, beat writers, I feel like a lot of fans forgot how much experience overall we all had. Yeah. You're not talking about guys that have 10 years service time, 8 years, 2 Cy Youngs over here, 1. It's like we're all 3 years or less.
Multiple All-Stars. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people miss that point by seeing the difference in us, where it's like you see Martin, like Martin's been in the game for a while. He's figured it out.
Oh, you could tell. Yeah, you could tell.
Yeah, where it's like guys like me and Cole Reagans and all these other guys that as starters, even me as one point, like we're trying to figure it out. It's like not everybody's going to come in their first 2 years in the big leagues and throw up sub-2 ERAs.
Yeah. Oh, there's people that, believe it or not, there's fans that were saying, call up Jack Leiter. And it's like, whoa, geez. Yeah. The guy hadn't even played a full year of pro ball, period.
But you guys, you guys know as well, though, no matter what type of job you have as a baseball player, as a handyman, whatever it is, like in order for you to get better at it, it takes years and experience to really get
reps. Yep. Takes reps.
And we're playing at the highest level of baseball everybody's trying to get to, and it's like the only way you get better is if you take lumps and you figure it out. And so I felt like fans and a lot of our beat writers really didn't give us enough credit about that.
I agree. I
really do. I feel like they got so caught up in the numbers, or like got caught up in, oh, well, he kind of went on a streak where he has a 7 ERA through 3 games. It's like, well, go back and look at the weeks prior where he got done facing the Yankees and the Astros and Oakland. Tough lineup and stuff, and it's like then all of a sudden he faces like a pretty good lineup or even okay, and it's like you have stretches like that. You have stretches where you're going to get hit. You have stretches where you're going to just blow through lineups. You know what I mean? Like it's part of it.
It's funny you mentioned Oakland because, it doesn't matter who they play or not who they play, who they have in their lineup from year to year to year to year. They are the most annoying lineup to face because they're like super patient. They foul off balls constantly and they just chip away and chip away and chip away. And it just seems like it doesn't matter who they, it's been that way for, years and years and years. Doesn't matter who they have. So I'm glad you mentioned Oakland because they just seem to every year have the most annoying lineup in baseball.
I can honestly say that. I say that personally about Oakland, and I mainly say that about Seattle. Seattle is like that. Ever since I got to the big leagues, they were always a team that always gave us a fight every time. Like even the years where in 19 and 20 where we were like at the bottom and they were at the bottom too, they were still putting up fights. And now all of a sudden they've kind of like taken that step and made some moves, and then they kind of have either even with us or sometimes have taken a steps ahead of us. And like they've always been that team where. You guys cover the Rangers for a while. That one guy for Seattle has always had our number was Kyle Seager.
Oh, yeah.
So Corey's bro.
That category. They have a really, really good lineup. And
now it's Rodriguez?
Yeah. You got JP, you got France, you got Dylan Moore. You got some Mitch Haniger. Come on. Haniger last year was unreal last year.
Yeah.
Sure, when he had some injuries, but he was still a very, very good dominant hitter, though.
Yeah.
All right. Well, one last question before we let you go. I wanted to know, I was there covering the game when this happened, but from a player's perspective, from a pitcher, what was that Eli White catch like down there on the field to watch? You know the one I'm talking about, where he stole away that 3-run homer.
First off, it should have been ESPN #1 play, and should never got beat. First off, it was just an awesome play to watch. It's just a true testament to how athletic Eli is. Like I really think like being day in and day out with this guy and getting to know him on a personal level. Like, first off, he's one of the greatest like human beings like ever. But people really sleep on him as an athlete. Like, this dude is fast. He's fast.
He's like a deer.
He is. He really is. And to make that type of catch at our field where the ball's hit pretty deep in the gap. And I think I can't remember if we won or lost that game. I think did we win?
We won. Yeah.
Who's to say we'd have won that game? That right there, that I feel like that play right there really solidified and really changed the momentum, because they were on Glenn that day. Mm-hmm. And then after that inning, he just started rolling. Mm-hmm. And I know as a pitcher, like, you're kind of like, you're kind of feeling the heat where you're like, damn, okay, that kind of hit me pretty well or whatever it is. And somebody makes a play like that, you're like, okay, that kind of fires you back up really quick. So that play he made, man, that had to be play of the year. I mean, no, behind Jonah's bare hand catch, but other than that was
that was awesome too.
Probably the best part about it is whenever we were in Miami, it felt like it was like 12 people at the game. So it felt like a bad game in Arizona. So.
Well, Taylor, man, we really do appreciate your time today, and congratulations again on the engagement.
Oh man, thank you guys, and thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
We've had your sister on so much, we're just calling her Mrs. Lady Ranger Report.
You might as well.
Well, once again, that's Taylor Hearn. Thank you, Taylor.
Appreciate it.
See you, Tay. Appreciate it, bud.
See you guys.
Thanks for listening to the Ranger Report podcast. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, and at therangerreport.com.